We are final in the home of the Chiefs. 26-10 is your final, with Kansas City earning their 9th win of the season. That's now 5 in a row in the win column. And 7 of their last 8, that lone loss coming against the Bills some time ago. But here they are once again, tallying a W. Mahomes 27 of 42 for 320, a touchdown, an interception. 26-10 tells you the story of a game well in hand, but the Chiefs not going to be thrilled with their performance here, especially in the red area, struggling to get 6 when 3 is the eventual outcome. But in the end, it's another win for Kansas City, who now eyes a matchup in Cincinnati next week. All right, Ryan Wilson, Bryant McFadden aboard to take this one down as well. Gentlemen, this is a Rams team that is currently in shambles. It more resembled a roster that maybe you trot out there for the second or third preseason game when it comes to the talent that was put out there on that field. And then you're talking about a Super Bowl hopeful in the Chiefs that kind of struggled to punctuate drives here, B-Mac. You walk away from this one with a win, but maybe a learning moment as well for the Chiefs. What'd you take away from these two?
Well, you talked about the boring performance, the issues in the red zone, but get this, they still covered the 15.5. It was a bad game for the Chiefs standard, for Pat Mahomes, but they still beat a bad team and covered the spread. Now, when you look at some things you need to improve on, no question, it's the red zone efficiency for Pat Mahomes. But get this, throughout the entire year so far, they've been pretty effective in the red zone, pretty accurate. But we just saw an off night for Pat Mahomes, but they were still able to be extremely productive when need be. I don't expect to see the issues that we saw from the Chiefs in the red zone offensively, but it's something to try to improve on, because you're at that point in the year when you do things right all the time, it's hard to find something to improve on. And I like seeing this ball game from the Chiefs, because I do believe they have more than playoff aspirations. They have championship aspirations. So the red zone woes clearly was the biggest negative for them. But listen, you got 15, you got 87, and you got some great players, future Hall of Famers. So you better believe they will be well prepared the next go around, and they will execute better than what they did today. But like I said, yes, watching the game, it was horrible for Kansas City. They still covered the spread.
That's a great way to frame it, V-Mac, as they do cash a ticket here, even though they were 1 of 6 here in the red zone. Ryan Wilson, do you take this as a silver lining positive here, that you do get a little bit of maybe bulletin board material on yourself coming out of this matchup?
Well, you talked about the other side there, this being like a preseason game for the Rams. It felt like a preseason game in terms of the effort that the Chiefs were using. But as B-Mac noted, they still won by 16 points. And here's my takeaway from this, and sort of just piggybacking on what B-Mac just said. Football Outsiders did a study probably 10 years ago that good teams beat bad teams convincingly. And even though it felt like the Mahomes-led Chiefs are just going through the motions, they still won by 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions. And I think that tells you all you need to know about this Chiefs team. We would see lesser teams, Chargers, for example, who we just talked about, they might lose this game by a field goal. Maybe they win it by 1 point. The Bills have lost games like this season, and the Chiefs find ways to win against bad opponents, even if it isn't pretty, and I think that's the takeaway, and that's something you build on. Does there need to be better effort? Does there need to be more consistency? Absolutely. Patrick Mahomes can't throw red zone interceptions late in the game. Sky Moore has to start catching punts, and that's been a recurring theme for him throughout the season. As a rookie, he may end up finding himself on the bench, but these little things can be fixed, and it's also great to fix them when you go on Monday knowing that you had the W.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.